Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Now today I'm coming in with another little design. I know you're really enjoying these little designs, and this one starts with a B7, and here we are, just a B7 piece of card, which I know you'll want to know. Just be reminded it's 5 inches by 3.5 inches, and I'm only using a couple of stamps. Well, 3. I say a couple in my head is 3. And I just want to show you a nice simple design, but just by adding colour, and it's quite quick to do. Now, if you wanted, you could add more colour with your pencils at the base here. But I think this fabulous stamp, and this one's called, let me check, the StarCap mushrooms, you can get away with just adding colour with your ink. So if you're in a rush or you need a design for your journal, but you haven't got a long time. Now, some of us, I know we like to sit and we like to spend all day doing colouring in, which is great. But a few of you have asked recently for designs that look effective, especially when you're sending cards to people, but you actually haven't got a lot of time, or because of health issues, you cannot sit for long. So that's why I've come up with this design today. Now, I am using some of the new stamps, but if you haven't got the magpies yet, look at what other flying birds we've got, or a butterfly. Again, use what you've got, you think, and if it just gives you the idea. And then when your magpies arrive, maybe add a magpie. So this is the design I'm going to create, but just to show you, I've created a similar one, but this time I've gone landscape instead of portrait. I've changed the colours up a bit. I've gone for pinks and greys, a little bit of extra purple, and I've added stamping from the top. So again, once you've got that idea, you can just, honestly, I know what you're like. You're such a clever lot. You'll just carry on creating, won't you? And that's the idea here, that we come in at Lavinia and we give you an idea, and you're so good, you just run with it. So StarCap mushroom to start off with, and the Nocturne, the black. And what I want to do here is, it's the first and second generation I'm going to use. So I'll ink up, and I'm going to come in with my first, and I want to just try and catch it at the base in this corner. Give it a good stamp. And then I want to come in with the second just up the side, because I want a little bit more height up here, look. Just want to fill in that there. So second generation is when you don't ink up. And I always like to do that because in a way, I like to use the ink that's still on the stamp. So I'm going to come in now, and I want to create this sort of shape here. So what I want to do, didn't want to do that, did I? We'll edit that bit out, don't worry. Chris will, he's very clever with that. I want to come in, and I don't want to stamp as high, look. And then I'll come in with the second generation to just give us that nice shape. I just found if I did all first, I thought it looked quite heavy. And like I say, it's a nice way of using that ink that's left on your stamp. And I'm all for a bit of thriftiness. And we can just, we've just got the right amount there. So I'll give that a quick wipe. And then I'm going to stamp our lovely magpie. Now again, there's 3 on the set. And the flying one is just perfect for this. Those of you out there that, anybody that's into football, if you've got a family that's into football. Now again, I mean, obviously I don't know about American football, I'm afraid, but certainly in the UK, one of our football teams is nicknamed the Magpie. So again, perfect stamp for that. And I'm just going to give that a blot. Again, it's a slow drying ink. I don't want to smudge it. We've got that lovely crisp stamping, and that's what we want to keep. So now we'll come in with our moon mask, the circle mask, and I'm using the smallest one, and we're going to spotlight. So you know me, turn it upside down, and I'm going to use Blue Atoll to start off with. So again, blending in the lid so that I don't waste it, because I can pick that ink up again. And again, a few of you have asked recently if I wash my brushes. Me personally, I don't, but I don't feel that I need to. because I do use all the ink that's on them. So if I was going to go into a darker blue, I could then go into a darker blue. And again, I pick the ink up from the lid, look, there's no ink wasted. But if I did want to go to a lighter blue, I mean, I tend to use, look, all the ink that's on my brush. If you look, there'll be very little, look, very little left. That's just the coloration, there's very little. But if I did want to go to a very light colour, I would just wipe it like that on my, obviously clean, inky binky, add a bit more colour to him. But that's all I would do. For me, I don't like to introduce water. I like to keep these brushes, they work so well, they're fabulous. So we'll get rid of the moon mask. And down here now, I'm going to introduce some green. So that very lovely dark colour, Pixie Green. Again, if it's a new ink pad, make sure you blend it in the lid, just because it is such a strong colour. Now, just kitchen roll while I hold it here. Now, for me, I want the darker edge to be at this border at the bottom. So whenever I ink up, look, I've got most ink there. If I put it at the top, I could get marks. And there's the most ink, and I want that a light colour into that blue. So it makes sense to me to always start at this base where I want the darker colour. And then when I've got less ink, look, move up and just cover, give a nice light touch to the top of those mushrooms. And again, ink up, but start in this corner. And again, on that bottom edge, give a lovely dark, and I really want it dark on this bottom edge. And then light as it moves up. And it just gives you, it's a great way of getting that graduated colour look. Again, when you've got most ink, and then move up. And then just to add that nice colour in the sky, I'm going to use a pink, but what I'm going to do is just clean this up because I don't want to get green on my pink brush. So if I clean that up, I won't pick any up as I'm going. Confetti. So I've gone for the lighter colour, and again, blending in the lid. But I'm going to start in that corner just so I get an idea of the colour. Yeah. And once I'm happy with that, then blend my way just across the spotlight. And it's a lovely way of introducing that other colour. And again, I always start on the corners. And we'll just put a nice pink cloud right across. So again, start at the edge. And we'll just go right across. And it's worth taking your time. And I say that because me being me, if I was to go, oh, I can't, straight from there into there, I'd get lines and I'd make a horlicks of it. So that's the lovely pink introduced. And clean that mat again, keep it nice and clean. But look at that, it's just a lovely sky. And again, didn't take much, did it? So some little finishing tricks now. And I've just gone for my Modulars pencils, and this one's number 20. And it's just, I noticed the magpies that we've got here tend to have a bit of a bluey tinge, especially to the black. And if I put blue on the black, you're not really going to see it. So I thought I'll just add a little hint of it on the white. So I'm not taking away that white, but I'm just giving you the hint that there's some blue tones there. But what I do want to do with my pastel pencil, and this is the white from my set, I'm just going to add some little highlights. Again, just have a little bit of highlight from our spotlight. And again, I'm not going for a lot, and I'm just smudging it with my finger to fix it. If you want, you can add some nice smudging to the moon. What I'm going to do is I've got my gold, and I'm just adding a tiny bit on his beak, look, and a tiny bit on the wing. And that's just because we're going to add some gold Posca, and it's to blend it together. Now, I just want to add a little bit more stamping. When I got to this stage, I thought it's lovely, but I need something down. Just for me, it needs something else. So I've got the Dreams Beneath stamp. Now, you know me, any new stamp I get with words on, I always put a permanent Posca mark on the back so I know it's the right way up. Because yes, I am one of those. I have stamped upside down before now. Very Perry is the colour I've gone for. And again, my suggestion here is on your copy of paper, give yourself a first, second and third generation. And that you'll decide which colour. Now I'm going for first. But it's worth doing that because there's nothing worse than putting a colour on and thinking, oh, I wish I'd gone for second generation. So I'm going to look whereabouts my lovely magpie is. And I don't want to stamp the words over the magpie. So I'm just going to almost follow the shape. And we'll just stamp almost around him and then come across here. And then the last one, I'll stamp in this corner. And again, it's important to get it straight. And I say that because, do you know what? You'll notice if it's not, and so will everybody else. So it's worth just spending your time. These little things, we just, you know, it's important. Now, I want to add some little splatters now with my water, but I don't want it in this area. So I'm going to pop the moon mask, the circle mask back on, tap the worst off my fan brush. Now, the writing, it's permanent ink, so it won't be affected. And the reason I do the fan brush at the end is for me, at least I can now wait and see how long I want that faux bleaching to work. But also I find it easier stamping on the card before it's had the water introduced. Now a little bit's got under the circle mask there, so I'll just dry that, but give the rest time to faux bleach. Might as well dry my moon mask while I'm at it. And then with your kitchen roll, you can decide how long. I don't want it to particularly look like snow. I mean, if it was a Christmas card or winter card, you could have it as snow, but I don't want that. I just want it in that mottled background. So we'll give that a dry. And then finally, I want to add some little splatters here with my Posca pen. Now, again, I could add white, but I don't want it to look like snow. And what I've found a really good alternative is this yellow, the glitter one. And it almost looks magical. But I almost want to get away from it looking like it's snow. So again, give it a good shake and then add some nice, and the splatters show up lovely on the black. Now again, you can go over the whole design if you want. I'm just going over the mushrooms down here. But when I said about adding the gold to the magpie, that's why. Just so it balances, that little bit of gold balances with, look at those, that lovely shimmer. Now it might be you want to use your white Posca. Again, the choice is yours. And that's the beauty of what we do. You know, the choice is yours, so you can almost make the same, but different. Now, I'm thinking this is a perfect design. We could have spring, summer, autumn, winter. We could have magpie through the seasons. But look at that. So if you need a quick card, but I think this could be for a male, for a birthday card, because again, we often get asked designs for males. But you could add some flowers here. Again, little pink flowers, bring in the pink from the sky, or some pink Posca. Make it a female birthday card. I mean, there's so much you can do. And as always, this is just the starting point, just to get those crafty juices flowing. And I can't wait to see what you're going to create. You're such a clever lot. And as always, please share on our socials, Lavinia for You, and reach out with Lavinia on Facebook. That way you'll inspire each other. And it might be somebody's having a bad day. And then you comment and say you love what they've made. And you know what? That could make a difference to their day. And we all want to do that, don't we? So I'm off now. I'll be popping back again tomorrow. I think it's time for that cheeky brew and biscuit. Take care, everybody. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.